The A squad gets their final preseason tune-up tonight, and there's still lots to prove, according to Coach Berube. You're listening to the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.
You're Locked On Maple Leafs, your daily podcast on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome into the Locked On Leafs podcast, a daily Maple Leaf-centric podcast hosted by myself, Mike DiStefano, and my co-host, Dave Morassutti. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. We do have some Maple Leafs hockey that could be bet on tonight. You can bet on all preseason action on FanDuel, including tonight's game. The Leafs finally back in action after being off since Saturday. Long layoff for the Maple Leafs, but they'll be back in action tonight. It's the second last preseason game, but it is going to be the final preseason game for the main group. So they're making their way back from Muskoka, and we'll get basically our first look at what the opening night roster should look like. Ooh, you excited for that, Dave, to see what it all looks like when it's all come together?
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be in the building, so I'll get to see it in person, what this new look lineup will be like. And I will say, what I thought it was going to be doesn't look like that's going to be what it will be.
What are you talking about? I don't know. You're speaking cryptically. What does this mean?
Well, there are a few players who have been put into places that I did not expect.
Oh, you mean like a month ago? Like it looks different?
Yeah, like if you asked me right after free agency, when the Leafs were finished making all their moves, how would the opening night lineup look like? It's not the same. Not even.
I think it's similar though.
There are like the
only real surprise. I think, like for me at least, the only real surprise is like Easton Cowan looks to have forced his way on the team. You know, and that's the only real surprise. I think everyone else I pretty much had in there. It's like Domi, it was either going to be top 6 or bust. I thought Michelli would be top 6. I guess maybe McMahon, Michelli are flip-flopped
for me.
But I think when we did our preseason, or when I did my preseason 1.0 lineup, I think I had just Michelli and McMahon were flip-flopped, and then Cowan makes it in over Yarncroc. But everyone else, I'm pretty sure was pretty well the same when training camp began.
Yeah, I think it's more so the wingers. Like we knew who Coach Berube made it clear that there's like duos. He works in duos.
Yeah,
right.
fair.
So we had pretty much those set in stone. Right. It was just more so, was Easton Cowan going to make the team? I was not thinking that we were going to be seeing Easton Cowan anywhere close to. Yeah, we'd be seeing him get a really good shot at making the team, and they did. I mean, give the Leafs credit; they gave him every opportunity to show whether he could or couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also thought, maybe they would just stick to, kind of more of a long-term look in terms of his development, and just say, you know what, we just want to put him in a position where he's going to play a lot. But at the same time, if he's going to give you the best option, you kind of owe it to the player who's played well enough to be in the lineup to give him that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, right at the beginning of camp, Brad Treliving and came out and said, like, we're going to play the players that give us the best chance to win. And Easton Cowan does give you the best chance to win right now if he's in your lineup over a Calle Yarncroc or over Nick Robertson. Like he's shown that the couple of games he's been able to play on the fourth line there, he's shown up, right? Like he's played really, really well. He's done well in practice. There was another glowing quote about Easton Cowan in camp today. When speaking to Coach Berube, he said, quote, "Cowan's come in as a worker and he's worked. He's done all the little things that we've asked him to do, and I think he's had a great summer. He looked different to me body-wise, weight-wise, looked stronger, and way more confident coming in this year." And that's just on top of everything else that he said, pumping up Cowan's tires a little bit this training camp. So he's impressed Coach Berube. From year to year, he does see some good development in this kid. Now, what I think most of us assumed was he'd be a waste on the fourth line, right? Like he'd be better suited from a development standpoint being in the top six with the Marlies than he would be on the fourth line playing 11 12 minutes with the Maple Leafs. Like that was more so the commentary when we talked about Cowan not making the team. But if it's just straight up in a vacuum, how does this 2025-26 Maple Leafs win games? Well, you win games this season with Cowan there over a Yarncrocker, over a Robertson. He is the better player. He's shown that he's the better player. And, there's still time for things to settle in, I guess, and maybe things shake out where the vets in the end up there. Like Fraser Minton won a job, a couple of years ago. But then after a few games, it was like, okay, yeah, he's starting to get figured out a little bit. The habits are starting to wane, and he got sent back down, right? So could be a similar situation, or maybe hits the ground running. But I think Easton Cowan has to be happy with how his camp went, and they have one more opportunity tonight to really solidify himself in this lineup. Like I think, we spoke about it yesterday of guys who have the most pressure to perform in the final couple of games here as training camp comes to an end, and he was right there, like him and Nick Robertson, 1A, 1B. I'm not sure if Robertson's going to be in this lineup. Like if this is going to be the projected opening night lineup, the final tune-up for the big boys, if Cowan ends up getting this game, that's a kind of a tip of the cap that Easton Cowan's won the job. But he's got to play well tonight. Like if he all of a sudden, gets beat or, makes some bad mistakes or he's not battling, competing, you bet your ass that he's going to lose that job. Like you only, what have you done for me lately? So he's still going to have to go out and have a solid game tonight to stay atop in that battle for, one of those bottom six roles.
Well, that's it, right? And I do hope that with Easton Cowan especially, he just plays a simple game. He doesn't try too hard. But I mean, everything we've seen, as you said, during preseason makes it seem like whatever they told him to do, he's gone and done it. Mm-hmm. Now, has he been, what I guess what's the best word to just like a massive game breaker, or has he been like, a preseason MVP? No, he's had good flashes, right? I think there's still a lot left for him to show. So I think maybe that's a good thing, is that we can see a natural progression of where he can improve, right? Because sometimes players in preseason, maybe they do a little too much, right? And then when it comes to that elevated competition, then it's like, oh, it is that much harder. And it can get a little tougher, right?
Is there an early running for preseason MVP in your head? Anyone you can think of off the top of your head?
Preseason MVP. I mean, Scott Laughton had 4 points in one game. So
I think like that's the guy that sticks. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else, but like feels like Scott Laughton at this point is the preseason MVP for the Maple Leafs. So
it's just been like there has been like one player that's other than Laughton having that big game. Like I think Robertson's
multiple games, right? Like we haven't seen the multiple dominated games.
I think Nick Robertson has 3 goals in 3 games, so like he's got the gold lead. I do think that
just empty calorie goals. Like I don't know how else to explain Nick Robertson's production. Like he's a near 20 goal player, but it's almost like it's empty calorie goals because it's not even that impressive because there's not anything else that he can do for you. And I feel like most players.
1 goal. I don't know where I got 3 from. Sorry, 1 goal.
Yeah, 1 goal, which still empty calorie. Maybe that's why I was like 3 goals. I've barely heard of the guy. No. I guess that's why it's only been 1 goal.
Yeah. It was last year's stats I was looking at.
But even like last season, like he scored 15, 16 goals last year, and it's like, but he still didn't do a whole lot else, and it was like, scored 15, 16 goals in like 70 games, 60, 70 games, but he didn't do anything else to earn himself a job each and every night in this lineup. And I don't think he's done anything to set himself apart to earn it this training camp either. It's going to be interesting, man, because someone's going to have to go on waivers, whether it's Robertson, whether it's Kampf, whether it's Yarncroc, whether it's all three, two of the three, one of the three. Someone's going to have to go on waivers, especially if Easton Cowan does end up making the team. And it'll be interesting if the Nick Robertson tenure ends by him getting claimed off of waivers. There's going to be some people who are upset about that type of asset management, but if he's not going to be a member of the Maple Leafs, I mean, let him try and go work elsewhere and, carve out a role in the NHL. Again, we don't know what the roster is as of now. We're expecting to see the projected opening night roster play tonight, and I personally don't have Robertson in that roster, so I think it's going to be Easton Cowan. Let's take a break. Let's come back. And let's show our projected roster at this point, who we expect to play in tonight's game against the Detroit Red Wings. So we'll do that next here in the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NHL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5. If it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. You can bet in so many different ways, futures, same-game parlays. If you want to bet on the game tonight, the Maple Leafs favored minus 176 on the money line to beat Detroit in preseason action. You can place that wager now over on FanDuel. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. The Locked On Leafs podcast continues. Mike DiStefano, Dave Morassutti with you as we are each and every weekday, Monday through Friday, free and available wherever you get a podcast. You can also find us up on YouTube. Subscribe for daily Maple Leafs content delivered directly to you. So the Maple Leafs with their second last preseason game tonight, but it's expected to be the final game for the regulars. So, last chance to see Auston Matthews, Matthew Knies, Nylander, Tavares, the defensive core that's pretty well locked in. So it'll be the final game for most guys. So you picked a good one, Dave. You picked a good one to go down to see, because you're going to see all the stars, and I'm sure they won't be taking on, all of the stars in Detroit. So you would hope that the Leafs absolutely pump the Red Wings, right?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I would hope so. But we also have seen, where I said there's a streak right now of overtime games with me in attendance. So
that's regular season games, Dave. We're talking
there's
regular.
Been some preseason ones too.
You're true.
But majority of the time it is regular season. I like the, if I'm paying those ridiculous prices for tickets, I want me more than that 60 minutes.
Are preseason tickets just as expensive?
They're not cheap, guys. They used to be a lot cheaper. I think we're sitting in the 100s, and I saw some. We didn't pay this price, but I've seen them for like 130 for the 100s, which sounds like a great deal. But
if it's regular season hockey, at least you are seeing what sounds like the actual players. It's not Marshall Refi, right? You're not out there watching David Kampf. You're not watching Jacob Quillen and Ryan Tverberg. It's the actual players you want to see, right? The regulars that are going to be in this lineup. So why don't we show? We'll bring up the projected lineup here. I got it right. You want me to put you on? I can
throw it up. I got it.
You got it already?
Mm-hmm.
All right, perfect. So if you want to pull that up. So here's the projected lineup that Dave and I have going into tonight, and what we project to be on opening night of the NHL season, when the Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens drop the puck in a week's time. A week today, actually, we're expected to see that happen. Or I guess yesterday. A week yesterday. Now that by the time this podcast makes it to your airwaves, to your ears, but obviously what you got on the top line: Auston Matthews and Matthew Knies. Max Domi is making his preseason debut tonight. He'll get an opportunity with those guys. There were some quotes actually on the expectations of Domi on that line from Craig Berube. We'll get to those in just a moment. Bobby McMahon with Tavares and Nylander. So that's been a trio all spring long, or all camp long. That's going to be, another opportunity here for those three to continue to build some chemistry. Dakota Joshua with Nicola Watt and Matthias Michelli as the third line. And then Steve Lorentz, Scott Laughton, and Easton Cowan, we believe, has and should be on the fourth line, has deserved a chance to break camp with this roster. And it's been, there's been great chemistry with Laughton and Lorentz, adds a little bit of that offensive pump and maybe you get some goals out of that fourth line, which you really have not had in a very long time. So that's our projected forward groupings that we have for tonight and going forward into when the games start next week. What do you make of it, Dave? What do you make of this lineup? Is this a lineup that screams success to you?
I think the depth of it surely does, and having more clear roles for the bottom six, right? When we looked at if you looked at the bottom six from last year, and the bottoms to start last year to what it is now,
what was it? I mean, David Camp was there.
Well, Cal Yarncroc was not there because he was injured to start the year.
Yeah, that's right.
Pacioretty would have been there, right?
Yeah, that's right. Pacioretty would have been there.
Domi.
And Domi was a third line center at that point. I'm trying to figure out where. Leafs starting lineup. Here it is. So we had Connor Dewar, David Camp, Cal Yarncroc, Nick Robertson, Alex Nylander. Alex Nylander was in the starting line. No. He was in the starting lineup. No. I think this is actually just somebody who had a Grabankin made the starting lineup. Pontus Holmberg was in your starting lineup. So guys like that, like Grabankin, Holmberg, Dewar, Camp, those have now been upgraded to, the guys you're seeing here. Joshua, Laughton, Waugh, Michelli, Easton Cowan brings in kind of that new youth movement. It's significantly better, significantly better. Now you look up top, there's no Mitch Marner. So it's kind of a give and take in a way, but you hope that it's a collective where everyone else can kind of pitch in and make up the loss, the 102 points that walked out the door. You're hoping that everyone else can kind of chip in a little here, a little there, and you're not going to miss that. And you look at what you've been able to build depth wise, you should be able to keep pucks out of your net a lot easier, defend, check a lot better, so you won't have to score 102 goals or get 102 extra points. You can win more 2-1, 3-1, 3-2 hockey games as opposed to those track meets we saw, where they had to score 5-6 goals because defense was optional some nights with that bottom six.
Well, that's it, right? We just not enough balance, right? With the bottom six and the top six. Yeah, I have the lines here. Pacioretty, Holmberg, Robertson, Lorentz, Camp, and Reeves was your bottom six last year to start. Night and day difference.
Yeah.
Right? There should have been no reason why Pontus Holmberg would be your third line center.
Dude, top six Pontus. That guy was in the top six quite often a year ago, man.
Because you had Domi, Tavares, and Nylander. I totally forgot Domi was the winger to start last year with that trio. Lorentz, Camp, and Reeves, other than the Reeves part, Lorentz and Camp at the start of the year, they played well, especially Lorentz.
Yeah,
kind of drove things. It was okay.
Yeah, they're okay. Just okay. Little Jimmy Reimer, just okay.
But yeah. That's to me, it's just you, especially the physicality I'm expecting from the bottom six too.
I think they're gonna throw their weight around tonight too. You're gonna be in the building, Dakota Joshua. That guy's gonna want to throw his weight around, knowing that's the final preseason game, the final tune-up. He's playing in front of Leafs Nation, who's gonna come out in droves to watch the team in this game, final home preseason game. I think he's gonna go ahead and just start teeing off on dudes and laying some big checks to get the crowd going. I'm expecting that tonight.
Yeah, I'm expecting the physicality. I'm expecting, I do hope from the top 6 guys there's a little bit more of a push. Like I think Tavares has been pretty good in the preseason. McMahon's been good. But like the top line, Knies has been really good. Right? Matthews has been good.
He's played one game. Like, they haven't played. I think they really haven't played a whole lot. But we got Domi. Domi's making his debut on that line, so we'll get a chance to see what that looks like. Because there's a good chance that he gets a run here. And actually, Berube was talking about Max Domi and his expectations for him coming into the season. And he said this, quote, "With Max, we have to let him play his game and what he's good at, but at the same time, he has to change a little bit. I need him to get inside more. I need him to shoot more. It can't just be all about looking for Matthews or Knies with plays. We need him to make plays, but at the same time, he's got to shoot pucks. He's got to get used to his shot. We need him to be a bulldog out there. I need him to be responsible defensively, like I need every player to be responsible defensively." So, it's not, when it comes to Max Domi, it's not just like, okay, we need to make sure that we're being an elite passer and we're just finding ways to get the puck over to Auston Matthews or Max Domi or to Matthew Knies. They want him to shoot. Like, this guy scored 28 goals once in the NHL, like a near 30 goal scorer. It was only one time. I get it. But he can shoot the puck. Like, he had an OT winner against Ottawa in the playoffs. And it's like, okay, Domi, like, this is why they ask you to shoot. You got a decent shot, man. And for whatever reason, he never shoots the pill. And that's one thing they need, man. Like, they need Domi to start shooting the puck a little more. That'll open up space for Matthews. That'll open up space for Knies, right? If he shoots the puck, Knies goes to the net, crashes, gets a rebound, scores off the rebound. Like, that's the type of stuff that we need. Or even, Domi shoots. Knies been a very effective screener. He's been very effective when it comes to tipping the puck in front of the net. Like, that's the type of stuff that they need. Direct. Get the puck on goal, direct all the way to the net, and good things will happen. And obviously, there's no negotiation with Craig Berube when it comes to playing responsible defensive hockey. So that's clearly going to be part of it as well. And penalties. He's got to take way less penalties this year. He was very.
I think that's a big one for him. He's got to stay. Again, I get it. He wants to be the agitator. He wants to make his presence known in that regard. But last season, 74 games, he had 93 shots on goal.
Yeah, man. Like,
it's not going to cut it, right? Like, you look at the trend when he's had fewer than 10 goals in a season, he doesn't shoot it enough. Right? When you mentioned he had 28 goals, he had 203 shots on goal that year.
How do you go from, was it 93 last season?
Yeah.
Like, how do you go from being like a 200 shot guy where you're shooting the puck 200 times, you got confidence in your shot, you're putting it, you're drilling it on net, and then all of a sudden, 4 or 5 years later, you're not even cracking 100 shots. Like, I don't understand how someone changes their mindset that much where they become allergic to shooting, apparently. That's wild. That's a crazy discrepancy.
Like, you look back even on the last time he had over 10 goals when he had 18 with Chicago, 143 shots on goal. Like, that
was 18 with Chicago, but then didn't he also go over to Dallas?
Yeah, he did. So he would have had 20 goals that year, and he would have had, math, 179 shots. Almost 180 shots. So he's peaking around that 200 mark. Like, I get it. He's known mostly as a passer. I get that. But in the NHL, you need to show that you're willing to shoot the puck. And like you talked about him scoring in overtime against Ottawa in the game 7, I think it was game 7 against Florida. He was one of the only guys that shot it, showed a little more assertiveness. But it's like, guy, too late.
Yeah.
Like, now I would just remember I was watching that game at a bar. Everybody was so oh, they fought. It's like, really? Like, it took you this long to realize you needed to shoot more? Like,
yeah.
I think Craig Berube is right on that, where he needs to have that bulldog mentality that he's got to be more assertive. And I was listening to Overdrive today, and they were asking about like concern level or panic level if Domi doesn't do well, or him doing well in that
level
top
of
line.
concern. Yeah, they're doing the level of concern
And
segment.
and O-Dog's kind of right. He's like, they should not be relying on Max Domi to get Auston Matthews going. Auston Matthews should be relying on Auston Matthews to get going. And I think that needs to be the message to Max Domi. Max Domi needs to be worried about getting Max Domi going.
Correct.
And not be worried about, I got to help. I got to feed Austin. I got to feed Matthew. Nice.
Right.
Like, it's not, your concern should be on your play, doing the things you need to do on that line. Yes. Do you need to make sure you're also setting up the other two guys on your line? Absolutely. But there's an opportunity for you to shoot it.
Take
right?
it. Right.
If you need to make a play on defense, show that effort. And he can do it. We've seen it at times.
Yeah, absolutely. So he'll get his one and only look in preseason action tonight alongside Matthews and Knies. So we'll see what it looks like. Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully he takes a couple shots. If I set the over under at 2.5 tonight for shots on goal, what are you taking? The over under 2.5.
Oh, I might take the under.
I'm gonna take the over. Like he has to just shoot. Like you just have to, just to get it in your mindset to shoot. I'm gonna see if that prop's available on FanDuel later. That's something that I would consider placing a wager on, just because they want him to shoot. Like they're just gonna ask him to do it. Just shoot, so that it's already ingrained in your mindset. But we'll see. Who's in net tonight? That's the question. That's a question I have. Who's going to start in net tonight? Is it going to be Anthony Stolarz, or is it going to be James Reimer? We'll have that debate next here in the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. The Locked On Leafs podcast continues. Mike DiStefano, Dave Morassutti with you, as we are each and every weekday, Monday through Friday. You can find the Locked On Leafs podcast wherever you get a podcast. And we're also on YouTube with daily shows talking nothing but Maple Leafs hockey day in, day out. Make sure you're subscribed to get that daily dose of Maple Leafs hockey directly into your ears. So final preseason game for the big boys tonight. There is another one on Saturday where they're just going to call up a bunch of AHLers basically and have them go out and play the scraps, the Nicky Robertsons and the David Camps and Jurgen Crocs, the guys who are on the roster bubble. They'll get their final crack to see which of those guys can make it through. We'll preview that game on Friday after this one. But tonight, the big boys are going to play. And so up front, we kind of took a peek at that. The blue line, we know what the blue line looks like. It's the exact same lineup it was at the end of last season. There's no change on the blue line this year. And one thing too that I think we should knock on all the possible wood that we can find here. The Maple Leafs have been relatively healthy through camp, outside of the tweak that Domi had right before. Oh, I know. Did I jinx it?
What are you doing?
I didn't jinx it. Do you think I jinxed it?
Man,
No.
Where's the olive oil? We need the Malocchio right now to get rid of that.
Oh, you're right, man.
I swear, if there's an injury at the game tonight, that's the first person I'm texting is you.
Oh, God. But I thought of it because, like, I saw, like, Jonathan Toews got hurt. John Toews got hurt.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he got hurt the other in yesterday's game. Winnipeg was playing Minnesota and he got injured, and he's got to get reevaluated, and they don't have a timeline for him. And I was just, first of all, that's terrible. Like, that sucks. Like, that guy's trying to make a comeback to hockey, and your final training camp game, your tune-up, you get hurt. It's terrible. Hopefully it's not long-term and he can get back and get going. But it just made me think, like, man, the Maple Leafs have been healthy, and this final game, they just got to make it through. That's what my point was going to be, is they've been healthy to this point. Make it through tonight, right? Like, put everyone in bubble wrap. Maybe, I don't really need to see much tenacity out of the group in this one, I suppose. Let's get to the finish line here and get going. But In the crease is, I guess, where you may have a question about who's going to play, I suppose, because it's going to probably be Anthony Stolarz, I would think, and then what? You save Reimer for that game on Saturday? Is that probably how it goes?
That's probably my thought. Now, myself personally, I would love to see James Reimer get in for that game because I know
maybe they go 2 periods with.
It'd be
Stolarz.
nice to let the home fans, if James Reimer doesn't play, if he doesn't make it through camp and they just let him go out of the regular season, be nice if he just gets that one game at Scotiabank. But I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know.
Dude, at this point, like there's a growing concern with Woll, is there not? Like it's been radio silent with this guy, and so the designation was that he was taking a leave to deal with a personal family matter, and I'm going to be sympathetic to that. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to speculate, but that was on September 23rd. Like it's August or it's October 2nd now. Like we're nearly 10 days since he left the team. And it's been radio silent. Like, don't know when he's coming back. We don't know what the situation is. Is he going to be, back before the end of camp? Is he going to get a game in? Is he going to be ready to go for the start of the season? Like, at this point, it actually seems more likely that James Reimer is wearing a ball cap on the bench for, that October 8th game against Montreal, isn't it? Like, I'm starting to get worried about Joseph Woll here.
Yeah, especially because, and we talked about this a little bit, but him missing time means he also needs to get back into, like, I don't know if he's skating, right? We don't know. I'm assuming he's back home in Missouri, right? Is he getting time to skate?
I haven't heard anything. I have no idea.
Yeah,
I'd assume, but I don't know.
And I get it. It's a personal family thing, or I think that's what they've described it as.
Personal family matters was described as.
Right. You respect somebody's privacy in that regard. You don't like to speculate, but if and when he does return, there's going to be a period where he is going to have to, get himself back into game action, and that doesn't happen, in a couple days for a goalie. It takes.
He'll probably have to do a conditioning stint. Like there's probably going to be like a 5 to 10 day conditioning stint. Get a couple starts in the American League. Make sure that he's up to snuff and that his body's ready to go, ready to rock. And in that meantime, I guess relying on James Reimer to be the backup. No, I think it's becoming more likely we see this guy get a contract.
And like at this rate, I know you don't like to just throw a contract. I don't even know where the Leafs are in terms of max contracts. For the year,
they got some space. I think they got a couple.
They have 45 signed right now.
Yeah. So
we know we know they'll have the cap space because once they get rid of they have 16 forwards. 16 forwards are not breaking camp. They have They have 7 defensemen. I'm assuming the 7 that we see right now are the 7 that are going to stick around.
Yeah.
Because I think Philip Myers was placed on waivers, right? I'm trying to remember if he
was. Did I miss that? Oh, was there? I didn't see today's waivers. Was Phil Myers placed on waivers? So what? Henry Thrun making it through is the 17th.
I didn't see the latest. I know I saw there was that big cut.
Oh, could have been.
Let's see here. Defenseman. No, I don't see Myers yet. So maybe that hasn't happened yet. I was looking at cap. I was looking at the cap site, but maybe they're just projecting that. But now
he was at practice today, so he wasn't cut yet.
Okay, so you got you kind of have Myers and I guess it's Benning are kind of the two Benning, Thrun, and Myers, right? Like you're not keeping all 3 of those.
Yeah,
one of them is
Dakota Murmy's is there.
Murmy's.
Well. I think Murmy's might have been sent down. To be honest with you, he wasn't at practice, so he might have been sent down.
So like you're in a position right now where I'm not worried about the cap space, and if they had a third goalie last year, so having that, and it's going to be a minimum. So like I'm not worried about that. I'm just more worried about at what point does Woll come back, and how long will he need? And let's say Reimer, isn't good, right? We haven't seen him play a game yet, right? So like if he's struggling, then yeah, you can call up Hill to be. You can easily do that, but then that puts like Anthony Stolarz, that puts the onus on him to make maybe more starts than what was initially planned to start the year. And we know we are expecting more starts out of Anthony Stolarz this year than we did last year.
Let me see if there's any. So I'm just taking a look
at
like
3 back-to-backs, I think, in October.
Yeah, so game 3 and 4, so October 13th and 14th. One's a 4:00 game. Oh, that's the Thanksgiving game, Canadian Thanksgiving. So yeah, October 13th, 14th, there's a back-to-back, so it's like right away essentially. So he could play the first 3 games though. Play the 8th, the 11th,
I'm not worried about it.
And then Reimer play the 14th maybe, and then 16th, 18th, 20th. And they got the 24th, the 25th, and then 28th to 20. That's back-to-backs actually, which is weird. You don't see that a lot.
Fortunately, it's against the Sabres, so
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So you got a back-to-back on the 24th and 25th.
Although you have that dreaded back-to-back against Columbus. We know Columbus can be
in Columbus. Take the over on that game. The over is usually pretty good. That's so you got Calgary's in town, then you cross-border travel out to Columbus. It's usually pretty tough to do that, to be honest. So they're going to need a second goalie.
To me, it would be surprising if we see Joseph Woll within the first few games of the season. Like even
if he doesn't break camp with the team, I don't expect to see him in this first back-to-back, the Detroit-Nashville back-to-back on Canadian Thanksgiving. But he could be back for those Buffalo games. And
I would say if he's back, let's say within a couple weeks, he can get himself ready in
late October. By late October should be good, right? But a week before Halloween, he's back. He's ready to rock, and from there, hopefully, no more injuries, no more leaves, and you can rock with the tandem as it's supposed to be with Stolarz and Joseph Woll, and hopefully it goes as well, if not better, than it did a year ago. Now that both these guys locked up long term, they got contracts, they know the situation, they know the deal. Duke it out. See who wants to get the 45 starts, and the other one's going to get 37. I think that's how that math will work. And whoever is better will make more starts, essentially. Better or healthier, one of the two. That's usually how it works here. But hopefully Woll gets back pretty soon, man. I don't know. It's eerie how silent it's been. It's just a little strange. And they went up to Muskoka. He wasn't there for that either. They came back. He's not back with the team when they're back, and just haven't heard anything. And I don't know. It's going to take some time for him to get game ready, obviously, and sounds more and more likely that Rime time is going to stick around here in Toronto. Probably won't play in tonight's game, but I would expect for them to get a look at him at minimum on Saturday night. Maybe a period tonight to kind of let the fans, see him for one last game if they don't get to see him at all going forward. So we'll see. Just start a Reimer chant in the middle of the third period. Like how they did Rudy.
That'll definitely work with Craig Berube.
Yeah, dude, just start Reimer, and just get everyone around you to start it. It'll be like the wave, but the Reimer chant.
I'm actually relying on Leafs fans at Scotiabank Arena to actually start getting that stuff going.
Oh, it's preseason though. Preseason was where real fans are because
they can afford it.
They can afford it, and the suits are like preseason, schmee season. We don't want that, so they sell them to all the
sushi's not as good in the preseason as it is in the regular season. Exactly.
Sushi's not as good. The beer's not as cold. It's just how it works. So I fully expect for you to start a Reimer chant tonight to get him in there. If you got 5 minutes left in the game and he has not yet touched the ice, I want to hear a Reimer chant out of you, Dave. I want to hear it, and then we could talk about it on the podcast tomorrow. Can you confirm that you're going to do this? You're going to hold? I'll hold you to it. Do I have your word?
I'll find the TV mic. That way I can do it right to where the TV mic is so everybody can hear it.
Dude, I've got a line to, the people there at Game Ops. Like, you want me to shoot a note over to
Yeah.
Ailish and why am I blanking on the name? Shoot a note over to the Game Ops people and be like, hey, go find Dave. He's in 100s. He was bald. It's probably you won't be able to miss the guy. Here's a picture. Go find him. He's gonna start a Reimer chant with 5 minutes to go if Reimer's not in there. And hopefully everyone plays along. What do you think?
Yeah, it ain't gonna work.
All right, buddy. All right. It's getting a little loopy. Let's get out of here. That'll do it for us here today on the podcast. Let's thank you all for listening and supporting the show. You can subscribe to the Locked On Leafs podcast on all platforms and receive daily Leafs content. Follow myself on Twitter at Mickey_Canuck. Follow Dave at D_Morassutti, and follow the show as well at Locked On Leafs, both on Twitter and on Instagram. You can follow our Discord channel as well, Locked On Leafs, with the season coming up, man. It's starting to get lively in that Discord channel as well. Ooh, we got to get the fantasy hockey pool started as well. So
October, I think early look is it might be next Monday is the draft.
Did we already fill it?
No, we haven't done it. I don't think we filled it just yet.
I was going to say, because I know there were some people who reached out who had interest in joining this year. So,
all right, if you're interested, reach out to us because I know that we've started plans for it.
Yeah, I know in the Discord we've been talking about it, but I didn't think we fully zeroed in on.
Oh no, usually we have time before the draft too to get everyone.
Yeah, so let us know. Let us know if you're interested. Drop us a line on Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. If we can fit you in, we'll do our best. There's some open spots, but it'll be first come, first serve.
We got lots of room. I'm already
looking. Beauty. Well, Dave, enjoy the game tonight. I hope they score a lot of goals. I hope we see James Reimer make an appearance, and maybe you'll make an appearance too on television. That'd be awesome if they end up showing you and the family down at the Scotiabank Arena. That'd be awesome. Anyways, enjoy the game, buddy. We'll be back tomorrow to recap the game. Until then, keep it locked right here on Locked On Leafs.